Well, good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to Highwayman Trucking and My Way on the Highway. Topic that's come up the last couple of days I've been reading about, I really wanted to discuss. And I noticed a post today from the Arizona Truckers Association regarding this new piece of legislation that two congressmen, one Republican, a Johnny Isakson, a Republican out of Georgia, and a Chris Coons, a Democrat out of Delaware, have joined forces on. And that's the governing federal mandate of governing all trucks to 65 miles per hour. And it is a piece that I read, and I'll post a link to the article above, and after you hear what I have to say, if it makes sense to you, I urge you to call these two congressmen. I'll put their offices, phone numbers on the video here as well. And 65 mile an hour governing of trucks. Now, let's get one thing straight. Most of the mega carriers govern their trucks between 62 and 68 miles per hour. It has zero to do with safety. Let me repeat that. It has zero to do with safety. They might throw it out there that it's safety, but that's a damn lie. It has to do with fuel economy. That is your best fuel economy, and that's why they govern their trucks. No different than a lot of these big carriers are going to automatic trucks versus manual transmission trucks. They're horrible, but they get slightly better fuel mileage. Now, governing trucks to 65 miles an hour is a bad idea for a number of reasons. For one, if you can imagine going down a highway in Texas where it's 75, 80 miles per hour, and these trucks are governed at 65 miles per hour, they're not going to be able to pass one another. They are going to have long convoys of trucks going down the road, which means when passenger cars are trying to get on and off the highways, they're going to have to deal with these long convoys of trucks in the right-hand shoulder or right-hand lane. People already get frustrated with truck drivers when they're trying to get on and off the highway, trying to merge onto different highways and so forth. And 65 miles per hour is going to make nothing but our highways covered with millions of trucks in long convoys. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is when you start taking away the ability of the truck driver to maintain the speed of traffic, you put in a higher propensity for accidents. Let's be honest, because that highway says 65, the average person's doing 75. Okay, and if you can only do 65, you're going to be causing congestion, you're going to be causing confusion. People are going to be trying to pass you, trying to cut you off, trying to get ahead of you. That will create more accidents. The other factor that people are not realizing is with these new ELD, electronic log mandates, that we've had the last year and a half, truck drivers are already drastically limited to how much we can work in a day. Now, what people don't understand is when I start my clock, whether it be morning, noon, or night, doesn't matter, I have 14 hours of on-duty time. Now that on-duty time is loading, unloading, securing, throwing a tarp, getting fuel, doing a pre-trip and a post-trip inspection. All of that is encompassed in my 14-hour day. Out of that 14 hours, I can legally only drive 11 hours. So my drive time is already limited to 11 hours. And you say, well, that sounds like enough. Here's the problem with that. If I start at 6 in the morning, by 8 o'clock at night, I'm done. I legally have to shut down. Now, let's say I pull into a receiver at 6 a.m. and I sit until 5 p.m. You say, oh, that doesn't happen. It happens all the time. People wait hours. Okay, so now I've been laying in my truck, sleeping for all of that time. Guess what? My clock still started at 6 a.m. I have to shut down at 8 p.m. Halfway through my day, let's say I'm 6-7 hours into the day, and it's just one of those days where we all have them. You need to take a nap. I'm tired. I stop and take a 2-hour nap. I can't do it on my clock because I only have X amount of hours to drive, which means that freight has to get there, or I will be charged. For these box van guys and reefer guys that haul produce, that stuff has huge delivery times. And guess what's going to happen when that produce is late? It's going to rot, it's going to expire, you're not going to have fresh goods in commerce, you're not going to have goods on time. Also, when it takes longer to get there, these drivers are going to need to be paid more. What's going to happen? Your freight's going to go through the roof. It is stupid, stupid, stupid legislation from political figures that are pandering to people who unfortunately lost loved ones. And I don't minimize their loss, but you can't criminalize and educate everything down to correct the past. It doesn't work like that. You know, California has stripped people virtually of their gun rights. They have more shootings than anywhere else in the country. Chicago, it's worse in Chicago on a weekend than it is in Afghanistan, but they got all the laws. Guns are illegal there. These laws don't work. And these congressmen and senators that pass these laws have no real life experience of what it's like to be out over the road in a truck working to support your family. It's no different than, you know, we have these 34-hour resets every week. You can work 70 hours, then you have to have a 34-hour reset. Now, people say, oh, well, you're a truck driver, you're out seeing the country. When I have my wife with me, I see the country, and we're able to stop. We run a little bit slower schedule. But when I leave home, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever I'm going to be gone, I'm out there to work, to support my family, and to get back to my family. And if you haven't noticed, most of the truck stops are on the outskirts of town, and there's nowhere that you can even walk to from a truck stop. We see pretty much the crud hole areas of this country. So when I have my 34-hour reset, all I'm doing is hold up in that bunk back there, maybe doing a little bit of laundry, watching TV, killing time. And it never fails. That first night that I stop, day, night, whatever, I will relax, just like you do at home when you get off work on a Friday night. You know, I'm going to sit down, I might do my laundry, I might have dinner, I might watch TV for 3 or 4 hours. And then I'm going to sleep for 10 hours. So now I'm up, I'm rested, I'm raring to go, but guess what? I got a 34-hour reset, so I can't move this truck for 34 hours. So what's going to happen the next day, and typically for me it's on a Sunday night, is I'm freaking wired because I slept all day and I can't get to sleep. But that clock's going to start, 6 o'clock the next morning. I got to get rolling, and I'm dog tired because I've only slept 2 hours. Okay, that's the reality of truck driving, and we all go through it. And having the United States government tell us when we're tired and when we're not is ridiculous. There are days when I know that I can drive 16, 17 hours and I'm fine. There are days when 3 hours, I need a nap, I'm tired. It just rolls that way. Now, I understand there's got to be a need for some kind of regulation, safety. I get that. We are the most heavily regulated industry in the entire nation. There is nothing that is not regulated via the Department of Transportation. They do trucks, they do trains, they do airplanes, buses, anything that moves. And guess what? Everything that we have in our society comes on a truck. There isn't anything that you have in your house, that you have in your refrigerator, that you're going to get at the store later today that is manufactured directly at that store. Everything comes to somewhere on a truck. For production, for manufacturing, for delivery, for retail, it all comes on a truck. And to have the United States government coming into the trucking world without any real-time experience and passing laws is absolutely ludicrous. What's going to happen is drivers are governed at 65 miles an hour. They're going to push themselves. When they're tired and they should be stopped, they're going to keep driving until they're exhausted and they can't get anywhere because they got to meet that deadline. And believe you me, these big companies are not understanding. Walmart's not understanding of their milk not getting there in time because of a delivery time. They just don't give a damn. And I'm not just putting Walmart out there and throwing them under the bus. I'm saying big companies in general, I was using them as an example, my own opinion rather, I should say that. Nowadays everybody's sue happy, you never know what's going to happen. But that's what's going to happen if you govern these trucks at 65 miles per hour. There are times when, irregardless of the speed limit, you need to speed up. You know, maybe you need to get over for that police officer that's working on that accident scene, or the firefighter that's out there trying to save somebody's lives, and you need to get over. And if you don't speed up, you're not going to be able to get over. Maybe you need to get out of the way of cattle that's in the roadway or something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. There are so many factors that I could sit here and name all day long of why this is a bad idea, and it's yet more legislation proposed by people that have no idea what in the hell they're talking about. You know, I'm a big fan of the Don't Tread on Me Gadsden flag. Stop treading on me. It's ridiculous, and you have no idea what we do on a day-to-day basis and the life of a truck driver. And I challenge each of you, if you've watched this and it makes sense to you, to call these two idiots in Congress and tell them this is a bad idea. This is going to create dangerous, clogged roadways, congestion. I mean, it's just a horrible idea. And, you know, I posted this on my Facebook page, and somebody had made a comment about, well, have you ever seen this particular section down in Arizona? And, you know, these drivers holding the middle lane. I agree with you. There are companies, unfortunately, some of these mega carriers teach their drivers, if there's 3 lanes, to get in that middle lane and hold freaking less than the speed limit, which is usually what their truck's governed at 65 miles per hour. It drives me nuts. They should be on the right-hand lane doing that speed limit or less than the speed limit, and leave those open lanes for passing and or, you know, people traveling at least the speed limit. I get it. It drives me nuts. But unfortunately, their trucks are already governed. They can't go any faster. And the reason that their companies instruct them to do that is because they believe if they're in the middle lane, they're not going to be in oncoming and exiting traffic on the highway. So they put that truck at 65 or 62 or 68 or whatever in that middle lane, and they just hold it. And it's ridiculous. Pisses me off, believe me. But that's why they do it. And these companies teach them to do this so that they're not having to stop, start, which does what? It saves fuel. Again, it has nothing to do with safety with these big companies. It's everything to do with the bottom dollar and saving fuel. And I guarantee you that some of these mega carriers have it in with these congressmen to push this. And it's frustrating as heck. But just wanted to throw this out there. There's a couple of videos. There's a guy I watch on YouTube, Trucking Coach, and he did a video a day or two ago about it. I saw it. This was the first time that I had a chance to actually read the article and the proposed legislation. And so having done that today, I really wanted to get it out there. Please if you like this video, like the video. Please subscribe if you want to be notified of future videos. And please pass this around, because this is important. And if you think that you don't know anybody in the trucking world and this isn't going to affect you, well, 6 months to a year down the road, when you're paying twice what you would for a gallon of milk, you'll realize that it has affected you. Again, there's nothing that any of us in this free world own that didn't come on a truck, and it's not going to come on a truck to us at a later date. So it is important. Might not revolve around your little personal world, but it really truly does. And I thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.